Hi guys, I'm Priyanshi and I'm a CA Finance student. Today I'm going to talk about a very important topic which revolves around your own interests. Now I hear a lot of people tell me, and a lot of my students and friends share this with me, that they're not able to develop an interest for accountancy, or they're not able to understand the subject, they're finding it difficult, and they start to hate the subject. Which obviously becomes very difficult for a commerce student, because accountancy is a very important subject for a commerce student. Now, what I often tell them is that there is a way that you have to approach the subject. Now, because accounts is something which is introduced to students only in 11th grade, it is something which gets difficult in the beginning, because you find it complicated, you do not understand, and whenever something new is introduced to anybody, there is some difficulty that we face. So here are 3 ways you can develop your interest in accountancy, or any subject for that matter, but this will be specific to accountancy. The first thing is to understand the subject, because a lot of people fail at just this point and then they don't get to the second and third thing. So when you fail to understand the subject, that's where you lose your interest completely, and that's where you start finding it difficult or start hating the subject, and then obviously that becomes a big problem. So the first thing is to understand the subject and give yourself time to understand the subject. It's not something that you can understand in just a minute or just an hour or just one day. It needs to be built up over a period of time. So you need to give yourself that time to understand the subject and not give up just by looking at, the first class of accountancy or the second class of accountancy. It needs to take its own time, and you need to put in that time. So the second thing would be to take real life practical examples. So think of accountancy and think how you can apply that in your real life. So if you were to open a business, what were the transactions that would happen? How is accounts helpful that way? Or for big businesses today, how do those firms calculate their profits? So that's where accountancy plays a role. So it is important to understand the practical usage of that subject and the practical aspects of that subject. Now, this whole logic can be applied to any other subject. If you are understanding physics or law, you need to understand the application of that subject. You need to understand how that subject is used, what is that subject about, and not just the theoretical aspects of it. So second thing would be to take real life examples and take practical examples. My third and final thing is to practice. Now this is where again I see a lot of people struggle, and they don't put in the efforts, because they start to think that this is a very complicated subject and I won't be able to do well, and then they give up. So you shouldn't give up, and you should start practicing, because the more you practice, the more you will understand the subject, and all of these things help you to develop an interest in the subject. So that's what happened with me. Obviously I was not aware about accountancy before I joined commerce. I just did a little research on what the subject is, and I was interested in the applications of accountancy, which is why I took commerce myself. So in the beginning, obviously, like any other student, even I found it difficult, but I did not give up on it. And slowly my interest in accountancy started developing a lot. And as I understood the subject more, I started developing a bigger interest in the subject, which is why I chose a field like CA, in which accountancy is deeply involved. So it is about developing your interest. If you don't have an interest and you're not able to develop an interest, then it really becomes difficult and it becomes like a task. But when you start to understand the subject is where you start to develop an interest for it. So it is very important. So I hope these tricks and tips were useful for you. Do try these out for subjects that you feel are difficult for you. This may sound like something which is very basic, but these are areas where a lot of students, and even I myself, have made mistakes in the past. So I hope that this video was useful for you guys, and please like, share, comment and subscribe. My Instagram handle will be linked down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching.